Is it true, Rob, that the Boro players used to read it in the early days, in the early 90s, or is that just a myth? Did you ever find out about Boro players actually, like, knowing about flying and that?
Yeah, they did. There was a cartoon about a player called Mark Proctor who played really, really badly for a season, and there was an advert at the time about some bloke getting like a mower where he could sit on it and cut his grass, and the cartoon was like before the last game of the season, and they bought him this mower, and he actually played blind. We beat Newcastle 4-2, and he thought it was brilliant. But there was times when none of the players would speak to us because they read things that they didn't really like, and so there'd be like a policy for a season that the players wouldn't have anything to do with us. There was obviously a time when Steve Gibson had a swearing match at me down the phone, and I thought he was joking, and then I realised by the end of the phone call he wasn't, and I didn't speak to Steve Gibson for a year until he's the Middlesbrough football chairman, until I was in Japan at the World Cup in 2002. And it was this, Japan and China have these crazy ideas about queuing. They have like, you know, like in a post office where you zigzag. They had a zigzag that lasted about a mile. And we were queuing for a bus. And I saw him coming like that. I saw him for about half an hour. Because it was so, like that. And then, oh my God. And he just passed me, and we hadn't spoken for a year since he'd absolutely swore. Well, he did it on the phone, and he did face to face in front of a meeting of 200 people, and he just said, "Hello, stranger." Hello. And then I thought, okay, we're going to go back in. Half an hour we nodded at each other. So, but now I get on really well with the football club. In fact, I'm invited tomorrow to for the launch of the kits, and I get a free shirt if I go there and just wear a scarf and stuff at Herworth. Because I'm really into all the community events, so I really cover them, and I never have anyone to take photos, so I have to do it all. So that is an offer. Basically, I've always got like a spare computer in my room, and as well as the fanzine, I do a website, which is really one of the most biggest hits sort of website in the country, really. It's in the top 5 in football ones, but it's really. But I also try doing music and stuff like that. But if anyone wants to write me stuff, I just don't have enough time usually. But I have 2 computers, and I'll push anything anyone does anytime, as you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but there's been lots of times that we did a thing called Blame Jonathan Grading, which was based on he was a footballer from Middlesbrough who looked a bit like Jesus. And you just had this idea that everyone used to, people just pick on people at football. There'd just be like one person was like scapegoat. So we like blamed him for every sort of horror and thing that was going, like the Titanic sinking and stuff like that. And he loved it. I don't know whether he got it or not, but he photocopied it and put it over on his wall, on his locker and stuff at Herworth at the training ground.
Find out about that then.
Some of the players said, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was really good. We did a book course a couple of years ago with Emanuel Pogatetz, who was the captain. He wrote the foreword to it. It was all about threads. Did a book on the threads from the message board. One of the threads was about what happened to his head, because he kept having a habit of getting kicked in the head and being covered in blood. So it was just lots of different math threads. We set it out like a message board in the book, but unfortunately, people thought we were making money out of their threads, so they didn't buy it. I've got about 2,000 copies of that.
Just quickly, does it affect? How much does it affect like what you're writing in? Like knowing that the players and the club might look in, or not at all? Like if somebody sent something in that was really like I don't know, like crossed the line and was like being quite abusive about players or something like that, would it be a bit awkward printing it, do you think? Like knowing that it might be seen.
My personal thought is I'm crap footballer, so how can I criticise anyone's football? And I always think people should think that, really.
Yeah.
But sometimes you think about, I don't consciously try and balance stuff out. If somebody's crossing the line legally, then obviously you've got to be aware of that. I've had to apologise a few times for things and get lucky with people who don't ever take us to court. But look and run out, can't it? It's more of an issue with the website, without doubt, because you've got people who just say anything, and you can't just say anything on a website. You can be, it's supposed to be, people treat websites like a pub or whatever, standard pub, but actually legally, it's like a book. It's published.
So did you I was aspired to be a journalist?
No.
Did you never aspire to be a journalist?
No.
It's an
I
accident.
haven't got a clue how to do it. It was a bit limiting, really, because I used to write that column in the Gazette, the music reviews. But I couldn't like write it in chronological order, because I don't actually know how to do journalism. And so there's a traditional way of doing interviews in fanzines, question answer kind of thing, which is pretty good, really, because I haven't really got a clue how to do it any other way. So I just stick to that thing, and I think it's good as well, that because it means that if you do question answer, it's totally what the person says, isn't it? It's not your spin on it. So people can see that, and I think that's quite a lot of value in doing that. I've never aspired to be a journalist, and I think it's quite hard, isn't it?
No.
I've not got any training, but I've had a lot of people doing stuff for me who've done journalism and gone on to be journalists all over the country, really. They know how to do it. There's people at BCTs and people who've done books and gone on TV and radio that have done like a week's work experience. But at the moment, the work experience people from schools don't turn up. Or they go after it. The girl was a 15-year-old girl. She lasted 3 hours and she went home.
Where was she at the office?
She went for dinner. She didn't come back. I rang the school the next day to see if she'd died or anything. They said they didn't know. I'm still waiting.
Rebecca, can you take the camera for a second? We've got some like written in questions from people that couldn't be here. Right. Richie O'Brien has 2 questions. His first question is: if you piled up all your copies of Flying to the Moon, how high would it be?
Well, this was issue 441. That was 2009. So it's about. If we only had one of each, then there's one that's going to be up there, isn't it? Oh, somebody bought one actually a couple of seasons ago. It was in a bag like that. But then if you put all the spare copies I've got, then I could take it to my room. It's got like, you've seen it, haven't you? It goes from that wall to that wall. It's just boxes, 4 shelves full of boxes, and then I've got a garage with loads of boxes as well. But I don't know why I keep them actually, because I haven't got a clue what's in which box. Pretty big.
Richie's other question is: whatever happened to Sub Club?
Ask him. I could have brought that. We at the end of about 1990 played some gigs with a band from Holland called the X, who were still going. The sort of like big sort of subculture sort of thing, phenomenon.
Just the tavern stuff. So the gigs that you did at the tavern.
They played the tavern, and they turned up when it was called the Empire. They turned up in a fire engine.
Really?
Yeah, and all the kids were really scared. But it did about 10 miles to the gallon, so it was quite bad for doing tours. It's probably like you could buy in Holland in those days. You could buy ex-army stuff and ex-fire stuff, and they were really big in Holland and all over Europe, and they did that. Brought out a pack of singles to do with the Spanish Civil War stuff, and we thought we'd bring out a load of tapes and fanzines. It's quite good when you start, but then when you realise you've got to do another 9, then I don't know what happens to them. I haven't got any of them, any of the tapes or the fanzines. But people paid 10 quid, and then you give them like 10. But along the way, sort of enthusiasm waned a bit. But I know Sarah, her brother, she did a phone interview with David Gedge, which I think lasted 3/4 of an hour on the phone. And when she typed it, she like took the fanzine thing of question answer to the absolute limit. She put in every time we said and there was loads of that. Said she thought it was you'd be able to read it as he was speaking it.